Stocks are your most precious resource while playing Smash Ultimate. You could take as much percent as you'd like, but the game will continue to be in your hands so long as you hold on to at least one life. However, your stock is never in greater danger than when you're off stage, moments away from the blast zone and potentially the game. Today, I'm hoping to teach you some tips and tricks in order to more efficiently recover. My hope is that you will be able to live longer by making it back to the stage, regardless of what your opponent throws at you. So long as you keep these fundamentals in mind, you'll never feel like you lost a game that could have been extended even a few moments longer. To start, I want you to consider the options you have when you're off stage. Let's start with the best case scenario. You're hit to the blast zone from a strong attack and you live. You still have your double jump, recovery options such as most characters' up Bs and some characters' side Bs, and finally, an air dodge. The most important takeaway from this video, the greatest advice I can give, value your resources. Save your double jump. Understand all the different ways you can get back to the ledge. If you're the type of character who only really has an up B after you've double jumped, you've made your recovery much more linear, allowing your opponent an easier time to exploit your limited options. So let's start with the most basic of recoveries, your double jump and up B. Nearly every character in this game has these two options. The first thing you need to think about is your height, relative to the stage. Many moves in this game will send you vertically alongside the horizontal knockback. It's many players' initial instinct to immediately spend their double jump to get some extra height. But as we've already gone over that, let's see what options we have if we save it. If you're high enough above the stage, you'll be able to coast fairly easily back towards it. At this point, you can decide whether it's best to try and land on the stage if your opponent isn't currently controlling it, or simply up B to ledge. Now, if you want to simulate getting knocked off stage, you can go into practice mode and set the CPU to attack, probably while you're around 90 to 100%. Try to recover in these two methods over the next 10 to 15 minutes to become more comfortable off stage. However, recovering will become much more difficult as both you and your opponent get better with the game. You might find yourself in a situation, as you drift to stage, that your opponent will want to come out and challenge you. This is when you are rewarded for holding onto your resources. If an enemy leaves the stage to try and challenge you as you recover, there are three basic options. First is finally the chance to spend your double jump. If they fully commit to trying to punish your recovery and you're able to jump over them, now you are closer to the stage. Now you have stage control and they'll have to finish recovering against you. Second, you still have your air dodge. You can either commit to an angled air dodge or simply neutral air dodge and continue your descent. Choose wisely when trying to get around an enemy's attack. And third is a simple one that more players should consider. If you see them approaching you, simply drift back. This can feel scary as you might end up DIing poorly if they manage to reach you, but the more you practice this, the more you'll realize how powerful your air drift is, and you'll be able to evade offstage attacks while continuing to maintain all of your resources. Now, let's get back in the lab for the next 10 to 15 minutes and practice these three ways of recovering. After that, take another 10 to 15 minutes against another player and incorporate it into your recoveries there as well. Finally, as you play Smash Ultimate, you might realize that not all characters are created equally. While it might feel easy to get back to the ledge with a character like Yoshi, you might find it much more difficult to recover with someone like Ganondorf. What exactly is the reason for this? Sure, their double jump is different heights, with Yoshi jumping much higher, but Ganondorf can find much more verticality in his up B. What else differentiates these characters? While it might be common knowledge that different characters move at different speeds on the ground, there's another statistic that every character has. That stat would be their airspeed, and this stat could be completely different from their run speeds. To go back to our original example, Yoshi has the number 1 airspeed in the game. However, his run speed is only in the top 20. To compare, Ganondorf has one of the bottom 3 slowest airspeeds in the entire game. What I hope to exemplify with this is to take the time to learn your character's ins and outs. How good is your character's airspeed? Do you have to hold towards the ledge the entire time you're off stage? Or are you able to bob and weave back and forth in order to confuse your opponent? Try and pull back if you see an opponent aiming to attack you off stage and see if you could still recover. Every character in the game is different, and if you don't have access to the exact stats of your specific character, get back to the lab and simply try moving with your character of choice in practice mode. Take 10 to 15 minutes, either getting knocked off stage or simply jumping around to get the feel of how mobile your character may or may not be. Utilize this to continue improving your recovery. Alright, so with all of this information, what's the best option? It sounds like there are plenty of different ways to recover, but what's the best of them all? Well, that's what makes Smash such an interesting game. There isn't a best option specifically. What makes these options good is that you'll combine all of them into your arsenal. If you recover the exact same way every time you're off stage, eventually your opponent will pick up on that and call you out. As we established earlier, getting called out off stage could cost you your stock, your most precious resource in the game. So in order to improve your recovery, you want to mix up your recovery with every opponent you play. Go high, go low, be aggressive, or try something defensive. No matter what you do, never spend your double jump too early, and never let your opponent know what you're going to do before you do. Hopefully this video gave you some ideas on how to improve your recovery in Smash Ultimate. Remember that while every character might have similar options, every character is unique. Some will have more options, some will have less, but you'll never learn the limitations of your character's recovery until you apply these learnings to your gameplay. Thank you so much for watching. Today, I was your coach, Ian. I hope you were able to learn something and can apply it to your gameplay. Good luck, competitor.